Long before grocery stores, global supply chains, and polished produce aisles, people survived and thrived by harvesting wild fruits growing naturally around them. These plants weren't rare novelties or emergency rations. They were dependable staples, sweet or tart, deeply nourishing and perfectly adapted to the land. Over time, many of these fruits faded from everyday use, dismissed as insignificant or forgotten entirely. Yet they deserve a return, not out of nostalgia, but because they offer resilience, nutrition, and a renewed connection to nature. I'm Frank Miller, and this is Heritage Garden Wisdom, where we resurrect the native fruits once gathered by foragers that truly deserve a place back in our gardens, landscapes, and kitchens. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications because the agricultural industry doesn't want you knowing how easily these powerful native fruits grow in your own backyard. Share this video with someone interested in food security and self-reliance. Comment below telling me which of these 8 native fruits you've actually tasted or seen growing wild. Most of you will recognize maybe 1 or 2, and that's exactly the problem we're addressing today. Plant number 1, Pawpaw. The pawpaw stands as the largest fruit native to North America, yet it remains one of the continent's best-kept secrets. Long before modern agriculture and imported produce dominated diets, indigenous peoples relied on pawpaws as a vital seasonal food. At first glance, the fruit appears plain and unremarkable, but inside it reveals a soft, creamy flesh with an unexpectedly tropical taste. Its flavor is often described as a blend of banana, mango, melon, and subtle vanilla notes, an extraordinary experience for a fruit growing far from the tropics. Pawpaw trees naturally thrive in fertile forest understories, near streams and along riverbanks, often forming colonies through root suckers. This growth habit made them reliable and easy for foragers to locate year after year. During late summer and early autumn, when pawpaws ripen, the fruit provided an important source of calories at a critical time for preparing for winter. Indigenous communities ate them fresh, and in some regions preserved the pulp by drying it or mixing it with other foods to extend its usefulness. Nutritionally, pawpaws are impressive. They are rich in carbohydrates, vitamin C, potassium, magnesium, and beneficial antioxidants, offering both energy and nourishment. One of their most remarkable qualities is their natural toughness. Unlike many modern fruit trees that require constant care and chemical protection, pawpaws evolved entirely within North American ecosystems. They possess a natural resistance to many pests and diseases, aided by insect-repelling compounds in their leaves and bark. Their flowers are pollinated not by bees, but by native beetles and flies, an ancient ecological partnership that highlights how well adapted they are to their environment. Pawpaws never became mainstream commercial crop, not because they lack flavor or value, but because they don't fit industrial agriculture. Their thin skin bruises easily, and the fruit ripens quickly, making long-distance shipping impractical. As a result, they quietly slipped out of public awareness. Plant number 2, Serviceberry. Serviceberries, known by many names including Juneberry, Shadbush, and Saskatoonberry, were once essential fruits for indigenous peoples across much of North America. These small, deep purple berries resemble blueberries, but often offer a more complex flavor. Along with their natural sweetness, they carry subtle almond or apple-like notes from their tiny edible seeds. Ripening in early summer, serviceberries were often the first fresh fruit available after winter, making them especially valuable to foragers emerging from months of limited food. Indigenous communities ate them fresh, and in some regions preserved the pulp by drying it or mixing it with other foods to extend its usefulness. Nutritionally, serviceberries are outstanding. They provide antioxidants, fiber, iron, vitamin C, and natural sugars, delivering both immediate energy and long-lasting nourishment. Serviceberry trees also offered beauty and dependability beyond their fruit. They are exceptionally adaptable, thriving in cold climates, withstanding drought, tolerating poor or rocky soils and surviving harsh winds. This resilience made them reliable in environments where other fruit trees struggled. In spring, they burst into clouds of delicate white blossoms. Summer brings lush green foliage and ripening berries, while autumn transforms the leaves into brilliant shades of red, orange, and gold. Few plants deliver such visual appeal alongside food production throughout the year. As agriculture shifted towards large-scale farming and imported fruits, serviceberries gradually disappeared from everyday diets. Today, many people recognize the trees only as ornamentals, unaware that their fruit is edible or that it once supported entire cultures. Plant number 3, American persimmon. Long before Asian persimmon varieties ever appeared in orchards or grocery stores, the American persimmon was one of the most treasured native fruits across much of North America. Found growing wild from the Midwest through the Southeast, this humble tree rewarded those who understood its timing and temperament. When fully ripe, the American persimmon delivers an extraordinary eating experience, with soft, almost pudding-like flesh bursting with flavors reminiscent of honey, dates, caramel, and warm brown sugar. Indigenous foragers understood a crucial truth about this fruit: patience was essential. Unripe persimmons are notoriously astringent, instantly drying the mouth in a way that few people forget. But once the fruit reaches full maturity, often after the first frosts of fall, it softens dramatically, darkens in color, and becomes luxuriously sweet. At this stage, persimmons were eagerly gathered and enjoyed fresh, mashed into thick pastes, baked into breads and puddings, or dried to preserve their sweetness for the winter months. American persimmons were valued not only for their flavor, but also for their dependability. These trees are exceptionally resilient. They tolerate heat, drought, poor or rocky soils, and long periods of neglect far better than most cultivated fruit trees. Once established, they need very little care and can live for generations, producing abundant harvests year after year. Their deep root systems allow them to thrive in locations where apples, peaches, or pears would struggle or fail entirely. Plant number 4, beach plum. Along the rugged, wind-swept coastlines of the northeastern United States, hidden among sandy dunes and coastal thickets, grows one of the most overlooked native fruits, the beach plum. For indigenous coastal peoples, this tough little plum was a vital seasonal resource, providing nourishment and flavor in environments where traditional agriculture was often difficult or unreliable. Beach plums are small and round, ripening to deep shades of purple or nearly black, often dusted with a soft blue bloom. Their flavor is bold and assertive, sharply tart with a rich, fruity depth that truly shines when transformed through cooking. While some enjoy them fresh, beach plums are best known for their exceptional preserves. Native foragers and early settlers quickly discovered that these fruits produce outstanding jams, jellies, sauces, and syrups with a complexity far beyond that of most cultivated plums. What truly sets beach plums apart is their ability to thrive where few other fruiting plants can survive. These shrubs flourish in sandy, nutrient-poor soils, enduring constant wind, salt spray, drought, and intense sun. They are naturally salt-tolerant and remarkably hardy. Their extensive root systems help anchor dunes and reduce erosion, making them invaluable not only as a food source, but also as a stabilizing force in fragile coastal ecosystems. Plant number 5, chokecherry. Despite its rather unappealing name, chokecherry was one of the most essential and widely relied upon wild fruits for Native American tribes throughout much of North America. Long before cultivated orchards or domesticated fruit trees became common, chokecherry shrubs and small trees provided a dependable source of food in environments where few other fruits could survive. The berries themselves are small and dark, ranging in color from deep red to nearly black, and they grow in heavy clusters that make harvesting efficient and plentiful during a good season. When eaten raw, chokecherries are famously sharp and intensely astringent, instantly tightening the mouth and leaving a dry sensation behind. Indigenous foragers, however, understood that this boldness was not a drawback, but a strength. Through cooking, drying, or fermentation, chokecherries undergo a remarkable transformation. Heat and processing break down the tannins responsible for their harshness, revealing complex layered flavors with deep wine-like richness and subtle almond notes derived from the crushed pits. Traditionally, the fruits were pounded whole, skins, flesh, and pits together, and then shaped into thick cakes that were dried in the sun. These cakes were dense with nutrients, highly portable, and capable of lasting for long periods without spoilage. Buffaloberry is another remarkable native fruit that has largely faded from modern awareness, despite once being a vital part of indigenous diets, particularly in the dry, unforgiving landscapes of the Great Plains and northern regions. These small, vivid red berries grow on hardy, thorny shrubs that flourish where many other fruiting plants cannot, in areas defined by dry soils, intense sunlight, strong winds, and minimal rainfall. Indigenous foragers valued buffaloberries for both their nutritional strength and their adaptability. The berries are exceptionally rich in vitamin C, making them a critical food for preventing illness, especially during long winters when fresh fruits were unavailable. One of the most unique and fascinating traditional uses of buffaloberry is the creation of a dish commonly known as Indian ice cream. When ripe buffalo berries are vigorously whipped with water, they form a thick, airy pink foam similar in texture to a natural mousse. This occurs because the berries contain compounds that act as natural foaming agents. Beyond its value as food, buffaloberry offers powerful ecological benefits. The shrubs are nitrogen fixers, meaning they naturally enrich the soil by adding nitrogen, improving fertility for surrounding plants. Mayhaw. Native to the southeastern regions of the United States, the mayhaw is a modest, often underestimated tree that once held an essential place in traditional foraging cultures. It naturally inhabits wetlands, floodplains, swamps, and the edges of slow-moving rivers and bayous, areas that are usually considered unsuitable for most fruit trees. Yet these challenging environments are exactly where mayhaw thrives. For early foragers, this resilience made mayhaw invaluable, especially in early spring when winter food supplies were nearly exhausted and fresh nutrition was urgently needed. Mayhaw fruits are small and round, typically ripening to a vivid red, though some varieties display shades of orange or yellow. When eaten raw, they are intensely tart, delivering a sharp, bracing acidity that can be overwhelming on its own. Indigenous peoples and later settlers quickly discovered that this acidity translated beautifully into preserved foods. Mayhaws were cooked down into jellies, syrups, and sauces. Beyond flavor, mayhaws were valued for their dependability. These trees tolerate prolonged flooding, heavy clay soils, and inconsistent moisture levels that would kill most fruit trees. Elderberry stands as one of the most powerful and culturally significant native fruits ever gathered, though it gradually slipped out of everyday use over time. For indigenous peoples across North America, elderberry was far more than food. It was a cornerstone of traditional medicine and seasonal nourishment. The dark purple berries were never consumed raw. Instead, they were carefully cooked into syrups, wines, preserves, and medicinal preparations. What set elderberry apart was its reputation for healing. Long before scientific analysis, foragers understood that elderberries strengthened the body, particularly during cold and flu seasons. Modern research has since validated this knowledge, showing that elderberries are rich in antioxidants, flavonoids, and antiviral compounds that support immune function and reduce inflammation. From a cultivation standpoint, elderberry is remarkably forgiving. These shrubs grow quickly, spread enthusiastically, and adapt to a wide range of environments. They tolerate wet soils, marginal ground, full sun, partial shade, and even neglect. Despite this toughness, they produce heavy clusters of berries year after year with minimal care. Restoring elderberry to everyday use means more than reviving a fruit. It means reconnecting with resilience, self-reliance, and the deep ecological wisdom embedded in native foraging traditions. Subscribe to Heritage Garden Wisdom right now. Comment below which of these 8 native fruits you're most interested in growing. Share this video with someone who values food independence and native plant wisdom.